At the end of the day, this whole journey that we're talking about is just becoming who you already are, who God already sees. You become the what I call your ultimate greatness. Okay. And then you just let that shine. Now, for the purpose of the video, you even the mindset that you have coming into it, you want to remove all shackles, all self-limiting beliefs, and just have fun with it. Okay? Have fun with it. Welcome to the Success with Listings podcast, where we help you get success in the real estate game the easy way. Now you can get off the roller coaster of feast and famine and out of the rat race of competing with every other agent in town. Hi, I'm Knolly Williams. I took over 1,000 listings during my first 10 years in the real estate game, and in this podcast, I show you how to have success with listings. Let's go. All right, so let's talk about video. We're going to demystify it, and I'm going to share with you really a lot of not just concepts, but some philosophies. But I'm going to also share with you actionable stuff, and then we're going to have homework. Okay, we're going to have homework. Um, yeah, I like this. Carol says Gary Keller recommends that we set money aside to attract customers. Having events is one of them. Yeah, for sure. We always have to have that budget. And that's a whole soapbox, Carol, because if you think about it, I mean, you could make a good 20, 30 grand on one deal, okay? It's worth it to invest in your business. So we'll just leave it at that. All right, so Monday Mastery, we're talking about pre-listing video 101. So what I want to do here, I want to equip you with the basics of planning, shooting, and creating your first professional looking pre-listing video, even if you've never done a pre-listing video. Now, as I share this with you, I want to mention to you that there's actually two different kinds of pre-listing video when we're talking about this. And write this down. So there's the pre-listing video that is the standard sort of like stock video that you're going to have that you're just going to share with your with anybody that's a prospect. Okay, it's just a stock standard video, and that's what we're talking about creating today. Okay, that's going to be about a 3 minute video, 3, 4 minutes. Um, Now, there is another pre-listing video that you could create before the appointment, and that's just you grabbing your phone and saying, "Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Hey, Nolly here. So good to see you. Now, I'm going to be out 2 o'clock tomorrow, and I just want to remind you that when I come out, da 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 da." And so you're just making a quick sort of a text video for them, and that's also a pre-listing video, but it's not in the context of what we're discussing today. What we're talking about today is a video that's going to help you build trust before you ever meet with them. Okay. So why video? So video builds trust before you ever meet with the seller. And that's what you want. People want to see your face, hear your voice, and feel your confidence. And it sets you apart. Most agents still don't do this. So it really does set you apart. Now, if we think about it, what, and I want to hear from you, you throw it in the chat, your thoughts. What would you say is the main purpose of a pre-listing video? And I want you to think about this. Think about it for a minute. What's the main purpose of a pre-listing video? Put it down to just a few words or maybe one sentence. And just, I'm going to give you 60 seconds to work on that. Hey Siri, set me a 40-second timer. All right. What's the main purpose? Like what is the main purpose of this video that you're going to create? All right, you can throw it in the chat if you've already thought of what your um answer is. Okay, that's our 40 seconds. If you still need a little time, you can work on yours. So, Michelle says to bring awareness and to build trust. I love it. Bradford says to establish rapport. Love it. Jackie says for clients to feel your energy. Okay. Absolutely love it. Miss Carol says you're selling yourself. It gives the seller a chance to see if they really want to work with you. Love that. Um, Cindy says sell yourself before you sell the home. I love that. That's so good. So good. Miss Carol says it also shows how you may list or showcase their property on video. All right. Love all these. Now, what I used to think was that the main purpose, by the way, all these answers are right. What I used to think was that the main purpose of a video was to uh, educate, because I'm an educator. Okay. So I had this notion that everybody wants to be informed, they want to be educated, they want to know the process, they want to learn, da 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 da. However, over the years, I've come to understand that that's not the case. And in fact, at some point I started having this epiphany that at the end of the day, it almost doesn't matter what you say. Okay, I'm going to give you some scripts and I'm going to give you some guidance, but it almost doesn't matter what you say because you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Okay. What I've come to learn, and and Jackie kind of hit it right on the head for what I've come to understand, is that number first and foremost, um, it's all about for clients to feel your energy. That's it. And it sounds weird, but what happens is, like when you're face to face with someone, there are a lot of things that they're picking up from you that are nonverbal. Most of you know this, but only 13% of our communication with each other is verbal. Let me say it again. 13% of our communication with each other is the words that we say. Okay. The other 87%, okay, is nonverbal. That's how we communicate with each other, is nonverbally. And most of even when I'm teaching, like right now, I'm training you, most of what you're getting is not so much in what I'm saying, but it's in between the lines. You're starting to have ahas and epiphanies of things that I didn't even say, but your mind is connecting the dots. Okay. And at the end of the day, people just want to know that they can trust you, that they like you. Um, and that's it. Okay. If they and by the way, this pre-listing video is, remember, that's the first meeting, because when you meet a person the first time, it's awkward. So you don't want the first meeting to be when you show up at their door. The pre-listing video facilitates the first meeting. They get a feel for you, they get to see you, they hear how your voice sounds, they read your energy, and they're like, I like this lady. I like her. You know, yeah, yeah. They don't even have to listen to probably even 20 seconds of the video. And they already know that they're going to hire you. Okay. So I just want this whole idea of what do I say? How do I say it? It's, I mean, you can't just say anything, but it's almost immaterial. It almost doesn't matter because once someone starts to connect with you, it's game over. And most of you already know what I'm talking about. I can see that you know what I'm saying, because we do this naturally in life. Okay. Yeah. Stephanie says people just want authenticity. That's right. And it's it for me it was very difficult for me to be authentic because for a lot of my life, I didn't really like myself. Okay. I was taught sort of not to like myself, that I was, meaningless, until I started to reprogram my mind and think differently. Okay. And so scripture says that we should love our neighbor as we love ourselves. So that absolutely means we should love ourselves, right? Because you can't love somebody else unless you love yourself first. So yeah, within the first 30 seconds, a man knows. Uh, it- if a female likes a female, oh yeah, yeah. Within the first 30 seconds, this is Carol says, within the first 30 seconds, you know if you like a person or not. And some people say, like even love at first sight, but the reality is the better you get about projecting your energy out there and not hiding it. So, and this is it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. I mean, I've been working for many, many years at becoming really, really what you're working on is becoming you, which is actually quite ridiculous. I remember when the author was talking about Michelangelo when he made the sculpture of David. Okay. By the way, I've seen that sculpture. I've been to Italy. I've seen it. It's beautiful. And when he made the sculpture, he made it out of a solid block of marble. And so someone just sort of made the observation like, man, how in the world could you look at that solid block of marble and get something like that out of it? Like how did you create that out of just a solid block? And Michelangelo said, the David was already there. I just had to remove everything that wasn't him. Okay. When I removed everything that wasn't David, he naturally appeared. And this is the same with ourselves. The you that is you is already there. It's just chipping away all this other stuff that we've put on top of ourselves to kind of block people from seeing the real us. Okay, because maybe we didn't like the view of the real us, or maybe we had to change that. Maybe we had to change who or improve who we are, and so on. So at the end of the day, this whole journey that we're talking about is just becoming who you already are, who God already sees. You become the what I call your ultimate greatness. Okay, and then you just let that shine. Now, for the purpose of the video, even the mindset that you have coming into it, you want to remove all shackles, all self-limiting beliefs, and just have fun with it. Okay, have fun with it. So let's get back into the lesson. Yeah, it's very beautiful. Somebody else has seen the David in Florence as well. Yeah, so it's a beautiful the fact that a human being could create something like that. But again, like he said, it was already there. He just revealed what was already there. So, and that's the same thing that I think I'm doing in my training. I'm not really, I'm reminding you of things that you already know. Okay, for the most part. So that's why video. Now, what's a pre-listing video? It's going to be a short 2 to 3 minute video that you send before your appointment. It introduces you, explains your process, and sets expectations. It positions you as the listing expert. Okay. I'm going to give you an example for your homework. I'm going to give you an example of one that I created. But again, when I created mine, I thought that people needed to know everything about what went into a listing and why I'm the best and all this other stuff. And it didn't really matter. I think most people would watch like 30 seconds of it. And the video is like 6 minutes long. Okay, so I'll share that with you, but don't use mine as an example. That's just a warning I'm giving you. I'm actually going to create a new pre-listing video at the same time you guys are creating yours. So we're all doing this together. Just like I've updated my pre-listing package at the same time I'm teaching you about updating yours. All right, so let's talk about so that's what a pre-listing video is. Now let's talk about what basics you're going to need. You're going to need a camera. That's going to be your smartphone. It's absolutely fine. Um, Now I did hear like Miss Carol was talking about hiring a video crew to shoot her video. There's a couple things. One thing I'm going to say is absolutely unnecessary. Okay, you don't need that. But what I like about it is that when you have a camera team, which is basically how I did mine. The first one that I did exactly that. I hired a camera crew, and what I like about it is that it gave me a like sort of another level of comfort that there was somebody listening to what I was saying and sort of correcting me. And actually, the guy that was sort of the director of of my video, he kept telling me not to use my hands. Now I don't agree with him to this day, but he would say, "Hey, you keep," because I like using my hands. That's how I teach. And now when you see my videos, I'm using my hand. My hands are going, that's me, right? But he wanted me to keep my hands relaxed and all this. It's still, we pulled it off, okay? But for him, he felt that it was more professional to not have my hands going all the time, which I understood. But again, I don't think it was necessary, but it was nice to have somebody there, sort of guiding me, if you will. But coming back to it, your smartphone is fine. Okay. When you talks to lighting about lighting, you want to face a window or use a ring light. Okay. Or be outdoors if you can, but not in direct sunlight. So, watch a couple of YouTube videos on how to light your video and you'll see, I've got a great lighting kit here. So if you notice, like I've got these lights on me and they're just part of my desk. Okay, so they're just like this is like a rolling desk. So I can actually take this desk anywhere, around the house into different lighting environments or even outside. And I've got my lights already built in. But I've also purchased, I have lights that I've purchased, and stuff like that. Don't go crazy. Just get you a good ring light. Make sure there's good lighting on you. Sound. Okay. I don't love using earbuds. Some people like them. Um, a live mic, I actually like better, a lavalier mic. So for your smartphone, you could actually get a good lavalier, like a cordless mic. It could even be corded, and that's going to make you sound really clear. The most important, I learned this from my video coach, James Wedmore, years ago. The most important thing about a video is the audio. Let me say it again. The most important thing about a video is the audio. If you have a video that's stunning, beautiful, well produced, but you can't hear it very well, nobody will watch it. But if you have a video that's just okay, but clear audio, people will still watch it. And that's what we learned from YouTube. A lot of amateur videos and people watch them and they don't really care about the quality. Like I watched one this weekend because I was putting in a Wi-Fi enabled thermostat. And so I just watched this video. It was not professionally shot. The guy was fumbling around with his camera, but it was like super helpful. And he was like, okay, here's how you install. It was a one camera type thing. Had his smartphone and he would go back and forth between showing, the device and, actually you never saw him the whole time. It was a faceless video. You could do those too. I'm going to give you an example of one. In your homework, we'll send you an example of a faceless video that I did. But I encourage you to use your face because, um, people are hiring you. Okay, so you want to be seen, right, Jackie? All right, Miss Jackie, we got this little inside thing. So Jackie's like me. She doesn't like to be. She's an SC. What can I say? That just about spells it up. All right, so tripod. You want to keep your shot steady. So use a tripod, no wobbly hands. Okay. Now obviously if you were just doing sort of a quick announcement video to them, like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, it's Nolly here. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. It's going to be 1 o'clock. Now, a couple of things that I want to remind you of, okay, I'm just using my hand and and they expect that. But for this video, we want it to be a little bit more professional. Um, the orientation, by the way, should be landscape. So you want to have your camera in the sideways position or the, horizontal position or a landscape position, as we say. All right, so some filming tips. I'm gonna give you some basic stuff, and then we'll go into Q&A. So, chest up, centered, and eye level. You want to have the, you know, actual lens at eye level. Okay. Don't, a lot of times people try to shoot from up high. It makes me look thin, all that kind of stuff. I get it. But for this, let's just shoot it at eye level, okay? Have a clean and uncluttered background. For your energy, you want to smile. And that's something you're going to have to remind yourself of. Because I remember the first few videos that I made. Oh my goodness, I, I I didn't smile, and I didn't breathe right. But just make it as conversational as you can. Okay, so those are some things you have to remember to keep your energy. Pacing. You want to speak clearly and don't rush. One of the things that I have a tendency to do, I remember when I was working on my Audible versions of my books, I have a tendency to speak very quickly. And the guy in the booth, he kept, or I was in the booth, the guy, my engineer, kept telling me, Nolly, slow down, bro. I don't know if I was just getting excited or nervous or what, but I would just start speaking fast. On a video, if someone wants to listen to you faster, they can speed it up. Okay. If it's on YouTube, you can listen to it at 1.5. I do that all the time. It's a time saver. But you don't have to feel like you have to speak quickly. Okay. Just natural pace. Um, Take 3 to 5 practice runs. Now, if you write, we'll talk about this during editing, but you want to utilize what we call jump cuts. Okay, jump cuts, JUMP CUTS, jump cuts. So don't feel like you have to go through the whole presentation, okay, and nail it on one take. That's not how it works. Paul knows this about me. When I send in a video, I don't even really do like multiple takes. I just I just stammer through the whole video. Okay. So I might say something like, "Hey, Knolly Williams here. We're on 101 Main Street, and oh shoot, this ain't 101 Main Street. Let me do that again. Hey, Knolly Williams here. We're at 104 Rosebud Trail, and this house behind me. No, I don't want to say it that way. So then I'll just cut. I'll say, and this house behind me, what you're going to notice first is, and then so I'm doing that the whole time. And the video might end up being like 10 minutes or 12 minutes. Then when I send it to my editor, okay, Paul, he's going to create what we call jump cuts, and he's going to splice out the parts where I messed up. Okay. Or what he's going to do is do a transition to B-roll. Okay. B-roll. If you don't know what it is, Google it. B-roll. What's B-roll? Because you're going to want to put B-roll footage in this as well. Okay. That's where you transition. Like a lot of times if I make a mess up on a video, Paul will transition to a shot of like the inside of the house, and then he'll come back to me, you know, and all the time he's editing. Um, eh, the final product looks great, but to get there was, he's going to have to massacre that footage to get out of it the final product. Okay. And I'll show you as I'm doing my pre-listing video, I'll have my wife kind of video me doing video. So I'll kind of give you an example of what I mean by this. But don't let that deter you from doing the homework. Okay. I want you to do the homework. So that's a few filming tips. We'll come back to some questions here in a minute. So basic editing, you can use free apps. Oh, keep it under 3 minutes. Try to keep it around 3 minutes if at all possible. That's very difficult for me. Okay. I want to have a pre-listing video that's 8 to 10 minutes long. But at the end of the day, nobody cares. They won't watch it. And I'll accomplish what I've set out to do, as Jackie said, which is to deliver my energy. I'll accomplish that in the first 30 seconds anyway. So basic editing, you can use free apps like iMovie, CapCut, or InShot. You can trim the start and the end. But again, don't feel like you have to do all this in one take and memorize this thing. Add your name and contact info. You can do that as sort of like little captions and titles that are popping in. You can have light background music. That's optional. You can do that. I do that in a lot of my videos. And utilize jump cuts. Okay, jump cuts. They're pretty easy to do for beginners, even if you've never done editing. They're pretty easy to do jump cuts. Okay, So here's a suggested script outline. So the intro. Hi, I'm Knolly Williams, your local listing specialist. Then what to expect. In this short video, I'll share exactly what I do to help homeowner. See how I fumbled that up? So in this short video, I'll share exactly what I do to help homeowners. See, I messed it up again. See, and it doesn't matter. You don't have to stop the video. You just keep going. Hey, Nolly Williams here. In this short video, I'm going to show you exactly what I do to help homeowners just like you. Put your energy, put some of your stuff into it. So sometimes it takes the third take for you to wake up or get excited, okay? But the whole time you're recording, okay, I just want you to remember that. You don't have to keep stopping the video. Just keep recording and then you're going to do jump cuts. It's going to be your lifesaver. All right, so then you're going to get into your unique value, my proven marketing system, professional staging, all the stuff that you bring value, all the stuff we've talked about in the pre-listing package, exactly what it is that you want to talk about of your unique value proposition, of which most people don't really care. It's just that you're articulating what it is that you do and most agents don't. So they don't even know if what you do is better than anybody else. They just know, wow, they're telling me what they do. Okay, great. Next steps. What are the next steps for that person? I'm ex and basically that's almost like the call to action. Hey, I'm excited to meet with you and walk through your home and answer all of your questions. And the close. Thanks for watching. I look forward to connecting soon. You know, and you again personalize this, make it your own, make it the way you want it to be. Okay. There is no wrong or right about this. It's just it, what I would say is wrong is not smiling, not allowing yourself to be seen, not allowing your energy to come through. Okay. Um, Homework. Who's excited for homework? All right. So your homework is going to be to record your first pre-listing video. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The cool thing about this for me is that over the next few weeks, I'm going to be able to jump on here and I'm not going to use the word critique, to validate, your homework and different things like that. And we're going to do that over the next 2 or 3 weeks, actually. So any homework that you're behind on because of summer or for whatever reason, but however, this week your assignment is to record your first pre-listing video. Okay. If you've got one already, you can upload that, and let me look at it. Use the outline and tips. Keep it under 3 minutes, if you can. Okay. Um, People will more or less cut it off when they're satisfied. It's like Grant Cardone, the famous question he always asks, "Have you heard enough to make a decision?" And some people, that's after 20 seconds. Upload it to the group. Okay. Um, don't send it to me directly. I prefer you actually upload it to the group. Now, on second thought, uh, progress over perfection. All right, Miss Carol, you're doing good, by the way. Um, so your first video will feel awkward, and that's normal. Uh, you know, the only way to get comfortable is just to start. All right, just to begin. I've got the homework assignment sort of reiterated here. But and that's it. We're out of time. However, I do want to stay a few more minutes just to see if anyone has any questions. When you upload the homework, you can submit it to the in the homework category. All right. And then that way I can go straight into that sort of section um, and check the homework that you guys have done. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. I'm going to do mine while you do yours. All right. Let's see. Uh, Daniel had a good suggestion here. Let me see what Daniel's saying. He said, I would suggest also looking into editing in Canva. Oh, I like that, Daniel. Since all of us have the features for free. Absolutely. I've never edited in Canva. Um, and I'm one of those guys that when I first got to editing, I bought Final Cut Pro. It was very uh, confusing. And So don't do like I did. Use Canva. Carol, what's up?
Uncle Nolly, do we need to wear anything in particular? Should we be wearing a suit, casual
I don't,
clothes? Does it matter?
it's tough. It's a tough question. It does matter because you want to make a good first impression. Okay. So, and that's the same thing that my wife asked me because I've just got a whole bunch of print materials. And I wear sort of like a bolo tie and a nice shirt. I don't think I'm going to wear that in my video. I'm probably just going to have a slightly more relaxed. But again, when I first started, I had a jacket and a shirt, shirt and tie, jacket, when I first started. You don't have to do that. Now, once you start having credibility, you can start to relax that a little bit, if that makes sense. People already know of you and stuff like that. So what I would do when I went on a listing appointment, because I didn't really like wearing a sport coat, I went on a listing appointment. I had my sport coat on, and as soon as I got in, I say, "Hey, may I take my coat off?" They said, "Sure." Then I just took it off. I never had it on again, right? But I came to the door that way. Do it to your comfort level, I would say. But look as good as you can, but don't overdress, if that makes sense. And also dress appropriately for your potential clientele because I live in Austin, Texas, the Austin, Texas area. So we're very casual here, very laid back. So if I was actually to have a suit on, it would be very weird. Whereas in Dallas, it's a little bit more of a standard that they wear stuff like that.
When Daniel, when Daniel does his videos, he's either doing it at a high rise, a multi-million dollar mansion, or behind his desk with his suit in the background.
Yeah, because he has his own clothing line. But
Oh,
see, that's just Daniel. Okay. That's because he's a fashion guy. So, but I trust me, there's multi-million dollar producers that go at with a t-shirt. Like if you watch some of the multi-million shows, those guys they just have on a nice t-shirt and maybe even jeans, and they're going out showing property, maybe a sport coat on. But Daniel, that's his whole thing is he's a fashion guy. So he has a clothing line of suits, custom suits. And that's just his thing. So if it's not your thing, that's not my thing. Okay. I own one suit. You know, I do have a few sport coats, but literally they never got, all they did was got transported to Puerto Rico and transported back. They never even saw the light of day. So if it's not really your thing, don't go there because it's, but dress, as comfortably as I would say dress like you would on a listing appointment, you
okay.
know?
If you're outside, where should you be outside? I can't decide if I should be outside or in the office in one of the conference rooms.
I don't, so for me, I'm leaning toward taking mine in multiple locations. So I'm probably gonna, and I might not do this. I'm just leaning toward the idea that I'm gonna shoot part of it inside the house and then part outside, and then maybe even part of it walking down the street. So I'm actually probably gonna mix it up a little bit where you're actually gonna the narrative will stay consistent, but it's just I'm gonna change locations, but I'm not gonna tell you that I'm doing it. It's just gonna be different, you know. So I would say don't overthink it. Just make it to where if you have B-roll footage, which you probably don't, because I don't even have it either. Like I have a lot of B-roll footage of me like speaking to groups. So we'll drop a little bit of that. Like I might say, hey, you guys already know that I speak to, I teach other real estate agents how to do this. And Paul will show a picture of me in a group and teaching on stage or whatever. But what I should have, and I don't, is like some video of me at a listing appointment. Like literally, Josie goes with me on most of my appointments. I could have just had her taking this bureau footage, and I just don't think of it. Or at a closing, you go to a closing, just take some B-roll footage, have somebody take footage of you sitting down with the client going over the closing statement, just stuff like that. because you're going to want to have those kind of assets, maybe not now, but later on, as you maybe do another pre-listing video or do other things, you want to have those kind of assets. So that's why that's a great question. But perfection is the enemy of progress. We already know that. And the SCs suffer from analysis paralysis. So they want it to be absolutely perfect. We want it to be perfect before we launch. And what I'm saying is just trust the process, launch, and then you can always tweak it later, or you could edit it, or you could do another one or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't think it matters. Whatever you feel like will get, you don't want a lot of distraction in the background, but you could even, if there's a vacant house that, you could just, I mean, I don't know that I would ask for permission. I'd just go show the house, and then just, you got to be in and out of there like in 15 minutes, and go do a previewing. Maybe you have a client that wants to go look at that house, preview, and that house just happens to be like a really nice house that you could shoot in. But don't go in there with a film crew. That would be a no-no. But if you're just going to go in there with and do some B-roll footage, stuff like that, where walking through a house and stuff like that, then that's cool.
Okay.
Just little ideas like that. But I would say there's so much content out there. You go to ChatGPT and YouTube, between the two of them, and just if you have a question like, "Hey, I'm doing my first video. Should I do it indoors or out, or should I do?" Just rely on other resources that way. It doesn't really matter, but at the end of the day, um, you, go with what makes you feel most comfortable. Yep. Hey, Daniel, have you edited in Canva? Because I never have. You have. Okay, and it's good. It's easy.
I think it's pretty easy.
Okay.
I did a little bit of classes on it just to make sure, but like even like you're mentioning the B-roll, every all those features are free. So you could just start typing in B-roll of high rise of a neighborhood somewhere
Yep.
and
Yep.
then
Yep.
just plug it into it. So it's pretty good.
I
I
love
like
it.
it.
And there's
Yeah.
and there's AI editors too. So there are some, and Paul knows about a lot of the AI editors. We can share a lot of resources with you guys. I just don't want to. I want to keep it a little open ended because I don't want to make it too complicated for the assignment, because it really is, as Jackie said, it's all about people reading your energy more than anything else, even more than the content of the video. Now, you will have people that are on the high SC scale that want to listen to every single thing you say, because they're more like engineers types, and but for the most part, people just want a quick, am I going to hire this person? Yeah, yeah, I like Daniel. Yeah, he looks pretty. Yeah, that looks good. See, like Daniel has a great background right there. Boom, it's good. It's good to go. So, and I wouldn't even say, like, I'm wearing a t-shirt. You guys see me mostly in a t-shirt. So I don't know what I'm gonna wear, but it's not gonna be too fancy. I'll put it that way. Because then they expect me to come fancy to the listing, and I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? So, well, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of the Success with Listings podcast. If you are serious about taking your real estate career to the highest heights, making more money and helping more clients while working less hours and spending more time with your family, be sure to get your copy of my free book, Triple My Listing, absolutely free at successwithlistings.com. Now, you want to be sure that you subscribe to the podcast and check out successwithlistings.com to get your copy of my free book. Hey, I'll see you on the next one.